Alright, so before the video starts, in the near future I'm going to be doing the second Q&A on this channel, so if you have any questions about TechieGrad, technology in general, or anything else really, comment them down below and you might get featured. Hey, what's up guys, Sawyer from TechieGrad. So the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus came out about a month ago, so I think now's a pretty good time for me to gather all my thoughts and tell you how these phones are holding up for me. So I think that a lot of people initially weren't huge fans of these two phones because it didn't really seem like there was nothing new about them. And people were expecting a lot of new things on them because it was a whole new number series, because the last ones were the 6S and now it was the 7. But what we ended up getting was a dual camera system on the 7 Plus, good, no headphone jack on either of the phones, bad, but I didn't really miss them honestly after a few weeks of usage, a new home button, kind of weird at first, but I kind of got used to it by now. Better battery life on both models, which was really awesome, and I'll talk about this a little bit later in the video, but I've been getting some really impressive results from the 7 Plus specifically. And lastly, just some updates on processors and things like that, which is always good. So let's start off with design, and these two phones are beautiful. Apple's always been known for their distinct design language, but I think these iPhones are the best looking ones yet. The annoying antenna bands of the iPhone 6 and 6S are now moved to the very top and bottom of the phones on the 7. And while I only have the matte black, or I guess black 7 Plus, I like the look of the jet black quite a bit, but I really didn't want all those hairline scratches on my phone. Even though the designs didn't change much with these two phones, it's not like there was anything really wrong with them in the first place. Apple's kind of going with the if it isn't broken, don't fix it model here. Apple seems to be going with this new cycle where they change the design of the iPhone drastically every 3 years. So that means that next year we should be receiving something big. One thing to note is that when I was using the matte black iPhone 7 Plus, it was really slippery, so I decided to pick up the Apple silicone case for it, and so far I've been pretty pleased with it. Additionally, these phones also now have stereo speakers, one coming from the bottom of the phone and another from the earpiece, and while they aren't all that good, any stereo speakers is better than none. As for the software side of things, both of these phones are running iOS 10 straight out of the box, and with the new A10 Fusion chip, these phones are snappier than ever. Apps open quick, flipping around the software is smooth, and you can expect an impressive gaming experience. Because these processors are so efficient, the battery life has been incredible. Seriously, I've gotten up to 8 hours of usage time on the 7 Plus, and using power saving mode, I've gotten almost 10. The battery life on the 7 Plus is what made me switch it to being my daily driver. Even the 7 isn't much worse, they're both definitely improvements over the 6 and 6S. Most of the time when I had power saver mode on, I wouldn't get the phone under 70% by the end of the day, and when I wasn't using power saving mode, I would be ending the day with more than 50% battery life, which is really impressive. These displays on these iPhones, though 1080p, are always some of the best on the market. The colors on this thing really pops, and also Apple incorporated some new technology to make the colors look even more realistic than they normally did. And now for everyone's biggest complaint, the headphone jack. Even though Apple is really the only company taking heat for not including a headphone jack, there are a few other phones, such as the Moto Z, that don't include a headphone jack either. A review of this phone is coming soon, by the way. When I first got these two phones, I was pretty disappointed by not having a headphone jack, but after a few weeks of usage, I really got used to it honestly. And this might just be my personal situation because I'm not really into having fancy headphones or earbuds. Next up is the home button, and it doesn't click this time around. But it still does give some feedback through the haptic engine that Apple has added. At first it feels really weird, and it kind of feels like the entire bottom of the phone is vibrating, but I've gotten used to it now and kind of like it in a strange way. As for the cameras, the iPhone 7 doesn't really have anything special on it, but as we all know, the iPhone 7 Plus has the new dual camera system. This means that you can get 2 times optical zoom, and also the camera can sense depth. The cool thing about this is that when iOS 10.1 comes out, Apple's releasing something called portrait mode, which will give you that whole short depth of field look that you'll get on more professional cameras like DSLRs. And so far, it looks pretty promising. Overall, I think that whether or not you should buy an iPhone 7 comes down to what phone you're coming from. If you're coming from a 6S or 6S Plus, the upgrade really isn't going to get you that much unless you're really looking for that new battery life or for the new dual camera system. However, if you're coming from an iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, or any phone older than 2 or 3 years old for that matter, the 7 Plus might just be for you. So that's going to conclude our full review of the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content from TechieGrad. Also, don't forget to ask us questions down in the comment section below, and you might get featured in the next video. As always guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.